Hello Exiles, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming and welcome to another Path of Exile 2 video. In today's video I'm going to go over my Invoker, currently level 86. As you could see from the showcase, level tier 15 maps, clears really good, takes down breaches, takes down rares pretty nicely, kills bosses pretty quick, and that's with, of course, currently I just kind of got to endgame, but I do have the first boss difficulty increase, so I'm kind of going to work on upping that a little bit. So yeah, so far it's been pretty good, pretty fun. I am really enjoying it. It's fast. It might get nerfed, but yeah, as you can see, I'm just going to go over the stats a little bit. So currently my total effective health pool between life and energy shield, like kind of max hit on that, is like a little over 4100. And then I have 71% damage reduction and 79% estimated evasion chance with almost 11,000 evasion, which would give me, for calculation purposes, just a little over 11,000 armor. And the reason that happens is because of and protect me from harm, which makes physical damage reduction from armor based on your combined armor and evasion rating. So currently have a lot of physical damage mitigation, maxed all of my elemental resistances, and we're over the final kind of hump of decrease. So yellow and red maps will also decrease your fire, cold, and lightning resist by 10 each. So you're, even after campaign, losing what, 50 in the campaign, you lose another 20 following that. So yeah, for beating each act you get minus 10, and then for yellow and red maps upon entering them, so like tier 6 and tier 11, you'll get another minus 10 each of those for minus 70 total. Chaos resist doesn't ever get minused though. Still only have 45% of that. Mostly a lot of it's from like the belt and the ring. I think that's actually where all of it is from. Yeah, because I don't have the chaos resist ultimatum thing. I don't really like ultimatum that much, so I don't mind the Trial of the Sekimas. In fact, I got my first, I got my 4th Ascendancy just recently, and I've been actually farming it a little bit. I want to get some of the cool new jewels. So, yeah, that's kind of my setup there. As far as other important stats, Spirit 216, which also comes from the Ascendancy, lead me through grace. Currently, I do have improvements to be made on my body armor. It's probably my body armor and my amulet are the big things I want to upgrade next. I think the rest of my gear is in a pretty decent state. I do want a belt as well at some point with an additional slot for another charm. But yeah, those are pretty pricey. I think a lot of people, like for good ones at least. So I might have to save up my exalts for that. I have been slamming some maps with exalts, so and I also bought a lot of other gear, including this staff, which I bought from a viewer, so shout out to that. But yeah, let's go over the build now. I'll start off with the skills, which are very different. I want to give a shout out to Snoobay, who is a YouTuber who put out a video on how to maintain power charges, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below in case you want to check that out. But one of the things he showcased was where is it? My cast on freeze, which I have in here somewhere. There it is. Cast on freeze. I have that linked with profane ritual, and then profusion and corpse conservation. So basically what this will do is I have a low level profane ritual. I just used a low level skill gem, so the int requirement wouldn't go out of control. I could get plenty higher because I'm at 110 currently, but just wanted to make sure. And what this does is it'll mark a corpse and turn it into a power charge basically, and with this you get a 50% chance it gets an extra one, and then a 25% chance of the corpse not being destroyed. That's not really that important unless you're fighting for a long time in a small area. But that allows me to use the other big thing that a lot of people suggested, Charged Staff. Charged Staff is going to give added lightning damage to your quarterstaff attacks for a duration equal to, 6 times power charges consumed. So quite a while. You also get for quality skill effect duration, so that pumps it up a little bit. And I am also running Persistence, so it lasts even longer there. I'm also running Energy Barrier on this, so if I become stunned, it forces my energy shield to start recharging right away, and it can't be interrupted by damage. So it basically becomes a pretty crazy kind of regen source for me. So I have that, and then I have Perpetual Charge, which potentially just kind of makes it so that I can keep it up in between packs if I have to like backtrack and stuff. Sometimes I'll use it, get my 3 things, and then it'll be up for like 25 seconds, and then towards the end of my power charge durations I press it again. Then I find an area with enemies again. However, I have been improving my maps a lot, so I haven't been running into the issue of sparse maps. And I try to avoid the maps where you do have to backtrack a lot. I've kind of got a list here of the good ones, which I'm working on a map guide currently. I think I understand how to like lay everything out to get the best value out of things now. So, and we'll test that theory, but so far I've been able to maintain tier 15s pretty alright, using a strategy that, actually I will go into the strategy I use a little bit here today, because, it's kind of important, but, yeah, I won't go too deep into it. I'll go in more detail at a further one. So, main skill is still Ice Strike, currently level 19, quality 23%. I did attempt, and I am currently attempting to get my last support slot for this. The way I have been doing that is every time I get a greater Jeweler's Orb, I will buy I'll buy an Ice Strike, and then I'll use it on it, and then I will vol it, basically. And I'll quality it up if I can as well beforehand. So that gives a chance. I think there's either a 1 in 3 or maybe it's a 1 in 6 chance that Ice Strike will increase the amount of available supports it has. So in this case, I would want all 5 of them. But yeah, that's currently not the case. But anyway, as far as supports, I have Martial Tempo. It just feels good and it's more damage. Attacking faster is always better. Helps get the combo up quicker too, to drop your Tempest spell quicker. Conk Effect, of course. Talked about this in my campaign guide. This is the less area of effect doesn't matter at all. In fact, matters even less with Charged Staff, because now we can more easily hit the bell, even if there's a fat enemy in front of it and it drops behind. Also, I'm now using a long quarterstaff, which has increased range, which helps with that as well. Primal Armament in close combat. Mana cost is pretty high, but this new staff kind of helps me alleviate that. I do have physical damage as mana, which I don't really do physical damage, but I do a little bit. So if you look here, as far as physical damage, it's a very small amount, but the big thing here is actually the mana per enemy killed, which helps me top up. And then I have like mana flask with charges gained per second and recovery rate. So it's not great. In my final ascendancy, I was not able to maintain my mana very well. So I had to spend a lot of time during that fight just kind of waiting around for my flask charges to come back and my mana to regen. And my mana doesn't regen that slow. It's 65, so it takes, it still takes like 11 seconds to get back to full. And during that 11 seconds, I will have gotten, 5.25 charges. So half of a little over half a use of a mana flask. So not super efficient there. And then, of course, we still have Tempest Bell. I have Rage, Font of Rage. These are my two favorite for this. And then Leverage. I've had this set up for a while. I think it's really good. A lot of times you're dropping the bell specifically on frozen enemies. So the 50% increased crit chance, which works out to just 5% increased crit chance. And without that, crit chance is normally like 28%. So that brings it up to like 33%. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I am kind of not going super hard on the crit at the moment because I had to get a bunch of energy shield and evasion nodes, which I'll show when I show the tree. I got rid of a lot of damage. I was doing way too much damage, but I was way too squishy, and I think I found just the perfect balance where I'm at now. Shattering Palm is another important thing. So Shattering Palm, what it does is you basically lunge over at something, strike it. It causes nearby enemies to get coated in ice, and then when you do damage to those enemies, it explodes, and it does 386% attack damage. Now, it has its own base attack damage, so it's based on this 77 to 115. So this does benefit a lot from levels, as the base damage and the attack damage percent will go up. And it also has its own crit rate, so 9% for the initial strike and 11% for the explosion, both of which get scaled 2% from the crit chance. Nice thing about this, though, is it combos really well with Herald of Ice, and it creates those big chain explosions you saw on the preview. So currently with that, because this can freeze and Herald of Ice can't, which I did not know because it's not written on the tooltip, but turns out if you press this little arrow, you'll see cannot cause freeze buildup. Unfortunate. At least, excuse me. At least I didn't see it there. So Shattering Palm, also have Innervate, because we're going to be shocking enemies and killing them. So right after, for the 3 seconds after we shatter a pack, our damage gets a huge boost of 35% lightning and cold, and usually that's enough to kill the rare, because once that happens, Herald of Ice will go off, and it'll have the benefit of all of that extra damage. And Herald of Ice has a pretty significant explosion, 229, and that does go off your weapon damage. That doesn't have its own base, so that's benefiting from my, hugely high base damage staff I have here. So really cool. And then I just have Rising Tempest for a little bit of damage. I'm only going to get the 12% more damage most of the time because I'm pretty much only, unless I just hit my charge staff, which I think is a lightning skill. It is not. Yeah, it doesn't count as a lightning skill. So, yep. I'm just getting the 12%. It's just there. It doesn't do much. Talked about the cast on freeze setup. Next I have Wind Dancer, which is doing a couple of things for me. So first of all, there's the buff, which gives 19% more evasion rating per stage. When you have it qualityed up, it goes from 3 to 4 max stages. So as you can see, it's up here along with Ghost Shroud, which is another one I'm using. Without that, my evasion will go from about 11,000 to 6,200. Yes, 6,200. So Wind Dancer, when it's up, almost doubles my evasion, which also almost doubles my armor. So very powerful. It charges back up really quickly. So, if you lose a lot of it, you don't worry. And the best part is, when it does go off, you trigger Gale Force, does a little physical damage hit for a 113. It's just a regular melee attack. So I guess it will do like lightning and stuff too. Because we have lightning, we have some extra elemental damage on our stuff, but it's going to be a physical damage hit. And so with this, I have Overpower, which causes extra stun buildup. So we against like hordes of smaller enemies, we're decently likely to stun them if Wind Dancer goes off. Then I have Blind, which makes it so that they have less accuracy and evasion rating for 4 seconds, making it harder for them to hit us at the follow-up and kind of mitigating the loss of our own evasion from Wind Dancer being down. And then Life Thief, in case it gets really hairy and I get like up to 1 stack and then it goes down. This will kind of maybe leech some life for me. I'm not really sure, but I didn't have anything else to put here. I do think this potentially is a good idea though, so that's kind of the setup I have there. Herald Device, I have Clarity for some extra mana regen, Magnified Effect for more area of effect, and Shock Siphon, which recovers Energy Shield when you deal a killing blow to a shocked enemy. So here's another combo. Shattering Palm will explode. It'll do all of that damage, which includes some lightning damage, plus the AoE from my other skills will also include some lightning damage. So that pops off. The enemies around are shocked, and Shock Siphon from the follow-up Herald Device kills them and removes it and helps recover Energy Shield. And then the other way we have to recover Energy Shield is Ghost Dance. Ghost Dance, you gain a Shroud every 3.2 seconds. When we get hit, we consume a Ghost Shroud to recover Energy Shield equal to 5% of our evasion. Since we have like 11,000 evasion, that's what, 550 of our 2359 Energy Shield that we get back if we are hit. So that kind of softens the blow and gets us back up really quick. And it basically completely negates any smaller hits. This is only like super relevant against like big rares or bosses, that kind of thing. Fast forward, less skill effect duration. So the regaining of Ghost Shrouds is a duration. So this should scale that. I don't know if there's any way to double check that, but Ghost Shroud. Will it give an accurate reading? Duration between Ghost Shrouds, 2.24 seconds. And then if we remove Fast Forward, 3.2. So Fast Forward does indeed work on that. Keeping those up nicely. Then I have Precision. I just have Extra Spirit, and this only costs 10. I don't need the accuracy at all because our dex is really high, and we have just naturally very high accuracy. If I were to remove this, my accuracy would go from 2085 to 1681, and we still have an estimated 100% chance to hit everything in there. So this is kind of, I guess, maybe helpful against evasive enemies, like either an evasive mod on a rare magic enemy or on evasive maps. Finally, Herald of Thunder for our double Herald setup. This is also very good for clear, but it helps with single target after we've cleared out groups of enemies as well. This is a 229 attack damage percent at the current level, which is 17. Converted all physical to lightning. And so that's going to help as well. Does this also, yeah, it can't shock. So that's important to note as well. Because then you could kind of, I guess, cycle it in on itself. But which means I might have, okay, I did notice that and remove. I used to have something on here that relied on the shock. But yeah, when we kill a shocked enemy, our next 3, now 4 with quality, and eventually 5 attacks will also do this extra AoE bolt, which has a decent radius, so you're hitting quite a bit of stuff here. And yeah, it's just a nice little added bit of damage. And I have a bunch of utility stuff on here too, like Maim, which is going to, slow movement and reduce evasion rating. So between Blind and Maim, along with our accuracy, we're never going to have problems hitting anything. And then Culling Strike, just to help out. It's just there. I needed Culling Strike somewhere. I guess maybe I could have thrown that on, for instance, Shattering Palm, and maybe I will swap it over. Yeah, I could swap Rising Tempest and that, but I like the guarantee of Shattering Palm killing things, because then you get the overlap AoE from Herald Device. But maybe if I put another link on Shattering Palm, I'll move Culling Strike there. And then Cannibalism, which gives life recovery on kill. which if our energy shield gets low, we do lean very heavily on this to get back up, while our energy shield and ghost shrouds recover. Then I just have a bunch of random stuff in my Chaos Bolt, which I still have for some reason. I'm going to figure out how to add a weapon swap to do something in this build, but I'm not sure what it is yet. I hope. That's my plan and my hope. Skill tree time. Skill tree. We now have a bunch of Evasion energy shields, so we get it up here. The pathing is completely different. Actually, it's not that completely different. It's similar enough. But yeah, now we only have some very efficient and nearby crit nodes. I mean, I guess there's a lot of efficient nearby crit nodes. But lots of evasion, have enhanced reflexes, bestial skin. I just have proficiency for purposes of ease because I was doing a lot of swapping of my skill tree, and now I have leeway for like probably 10 or so, 10... How much dexterity? 20 dexterity. I have 20 dexterity leeway when I get my skill gem upgrades to swap over like dex to int, that kind of thing. But yeah, have deep trance, which reduces cost of skills, which is really nice and has lots, well, I wouldn't say lots, but it has attack speed. 8 is quite a bit though. Have inner faith, which reduces effects of curses on us. Very nice, comes in handy. And then evasion energy shield. Spectral ward, which gives 1 energy shield per 12 evasion on equipped body armor. The point down here would be really nice as well, subterfuge mask, but I've instead chosen to anoint devastation because area of effect is incredible on this build. And you'll see actually on my jewels, I think I have area of effect on all of them. So I have this one, which has cold damage, crit damage bonus, energy shield is additional stun threshold, and area of effect. Very nice. This one is some energy shield recharge rate and faster start, along with chance to inflict ailments, recover life on kill. This one definitely has room for improvement. This one has it's corrupted, has an implicit lightning resist, and then a little bit of AoE, 5%, some chance to ignite, elemental damage, and freeze buildup with quarterstaffs. Pretty solid one there. This one has cold damage, crit chance, AoE, and freeze buildup. So this one's very good. So I have 2 really good ones, 2 pretty good ones that could use an upgrade. And that's kind of my setup there. I also just decided to get Mystic Stance. I'm not really sure if I need it. It just feels good though. And as long as we have Energy Shield, it becomes a lot harder for us to get stunned because I have stun threshold on my body armor. I get some of my jewels have, Energy Shield as additional stun threshold. And then I get that percentage as long as my ES stays up. And then when my ES goes down and I do get stunned, I will activate wherever it was. Oh, I put it on my charge staff. I'll activate Energy Barrier, which will start my energy shield recharge up. So nice little combo there. I think it's pretty slick. I did get rid of Echoing Flames. I'm not convinced that I'm igniting enough. I might try re-adding it this next level. I could try removing... Actually, I pretty much have most of the nodes that I like and am intending to get defense-wise. I might get a little bit more, but I think like maybe I'll get this other 12% ES evasion, and maybe at some point I'll go down and grab these 2 12% like through Stip like Mist. But I don't really want to get these 2 10%, and I don't think Shadow Dancing is that great. I think it's fine. Like, it helps mitigate some of the downside of Wind Dancer being down when that's not up. But other than that, I don't really know if it's worth it. So, yeah, that is pretty much that. Now, go over the gear. Gear is quite nice now. So I bought this for, I think, 30 chaos from a viewer. He recognized me and we chatted a bit. So big shout out to you. This is something I wanted to test. So I'll show you my previous staff. This is going to look like it's a better staff because it has higher physical damage and higher crit chance and higher attack speed and the +4 all melee skills. But it turns out, even my tooltip DPS, it's better for 2 reasons. So my tooltip DPS goes down, and I'll talk a little bit as to why that is in a bit. So not only that, but the utility is much lower. Like, because of the lower flat lightning damage, I don't shock as easily with that. And the biggest thing is, even though you get a bunch of damage for +4 levels to all melee skills, the thing about it is, it also increases your mana cost intensely. Like, I had something like 144 mana cost per attack or something with this on. Yeah, it was too much, and maintaining it would have been impossible. So, yeah. But I guess, yeah, I'll just talk about it right now. One of the reasons why is, turns out, your critical damage bonus on weapons is multiplicative with the stuff you get on, like, your tree. So, these nodes here, like, you know, 15% crit damage bonus, and, like, this stuff down here, heartbreaking and stuff, that is multiplied by the crit damage bonus on your staff. So let me see if I can get an example here. So let me pull up here. So if you look at my crit damage, it's 388, goes down to 285. Now the difference between that is much greater than 36%. You know, that's a huge difference. So that is something that not everybody might know. Very important. Yeah, that's the staff. Helmet, I've gone full arm or evasion energy shield on every piece. This helmet's not bad. The mana is kind of helpful, even though it seems like a wasted stat. I mean, I would prefer flat evasion energy shield if possible. And the reduced attribute requirements are great. And actually, I can handle dex now, although I'm only 20 over cap, so I guess it technically is. So really, yeah, this helmet can definitely be upgraded, but I have other stuff I want to upgrade first, and I would say 454, 171 evasion ES. It's pretty good, pretty solid. I'm quite happy with it. Yeah, I got hybrid mana evasion energy shield, which I didn't know, and then I think I got the top roll for evasion energy shield on this. So, yeah, pretty solid. Then there's this ring, which I self-crafted. I pick up all of my rings and just throw transmutes on them, like all good bases, so specifically stuff like prismatic rings, amethyst rings, any of the resist rings, really. I don't know if there are other good examples, but yeah, any solid base type jewelry that I like, I will pick up and try to craft. I'll just toss transmute, and if I had a decent stat, I'll also toss an augment, and if I had a second decent stat, I'll go regal. If I happen to hit a third, then I just go, you know, slam those last 2 exalts, or last 3 exalts. I did that with this. Ended up with just a ton of resistances and flat lightning damage, and then percent fire and lightning damage. So this is covering my resistances. I'll probably use this on a lot of future characters, as it will save me the trouble of trying to fix my resistances just from the raw amount of resists it gives. So this is really, really nice. Other ring's also pretty good. Flat fizz. Life, which is less relevant now, double resist, mana regenerate, which is nice, and it's a chaos resist base. This amulet is kind of good, but I mean, I feel like I should replace it. The spell damage isn't doing anything, accuracy isn't doing anything. Life is less meaningful now. I guess it's gonna contribute to like my freeze threshold, which I'm currently using a thawing charm to deal with, and my stun threshold, that kind of thing, or all element thresholds, I think, are based on your life. So yeah, that's cool, but I would like to get some like flat damage rolls on my prefixes, and yeah, it's fine. And devastation is very cheap to anoint, by the way. It is super cheap. Oh yeah, I have these other ES stuff things I forgot to mention when I was in here, immaterial and shimmering. But yeah, the anoint cost is 2 reds and the blue black. I don't know exactly what the new emotions are called just yet. Let's see. The red is distilled, which is literally the first one, and the black is the 7th tier, but you know, you can trade these up 3 for 1 to the next tier. If I just did a little bit of delirium farming, I could probably pretty easily, you know, farm back up another, and they're probably not that expensive either for the black ones. In fact, I could check. Oops, select hideout, no. Currency exchange, if I look here now, for, it would be under delirium. The distilled despair is what it is. Oh, 9 exalts. Okay, that's more expensive than I thought it would be. Maybe not a lot of people are farming delirium. I just found one though, and yeah, you can very easily upgrade into them. Usually you'll get like 3 or 4. If you have good clear speed, you're probably getting about at least 4 of these emotions per map. So, you know, just go farm some delirium, easy enough. Body armor, I'd like to upgrade this. It's actually not bad, it's just the numbers go so much higher on evasion and energy shield, and since it's the most impactful piece. So what I'm going to do is I'll use this for now and probably for quite a while, until I can afford to buy like a 100 exalt upgrade, or like 300 exalt upgrade. But then I'll corrupt this and see if I can get a 3rd socket or some sick implicit, you know, and maybe we'll see what happens there. Then I can kind of go back and forth that way. But yeah, it's good. It's got evasion. It's got, I think, yeah, it's got a hybrid roll, and then it's kind of got a little bit lower of the regular flat evasion roll, and then 2 low resists. Good stun threshold, though. I think this is one of the higher stun thresholds I've seen. So, overall, kind of mixed bag. It's good, but this is the piece that I want to be premium more than any other piece, because it's going to contribute more to my survivability than anything else by a fair margin. Gloves are pretty decent, just specifically because they have plus to all melee skills. Yeah, that does, like I said, scale up my mana cost, but at +1 or +2, which I think it can roll +2 on gloves, it's not that bad. Resists aren't that great. There's a lot of good stats I can roll on gloves, so I should probably think about upgrading this quickly if I can too. So maybe I have more upgrades than I thought. The belt, flat armor, not super helpful, especially at the numbers I'm getting, especially because I'm scaling mostly percent evasion. I think I have 30% defenses overall from the staff notable, but yeah, other than that, yeah, charm effect duration is helpful again. I do have some quality charms I've been saving up, which would help even more. I actually haven't tried. Can you use a glass blowers? I don't have any. I keep using them on my flasks. I probably shouldn't even be using them on this flask, because it's not even... Yeah, I should get a higher item level one, because it doesn't even have the 0.25. I think you can roll 0.3 charges per second at max level, so maybe I should re-roll and stop throwing my glass blowers on there, because in the long run it won't be that great. And then these gloves are, or these boots, 30 movement speed, evasion energy shield, life, dex, int, lightning res. Yeah, they're kind of whatever. I just really need, you know, the movement speed. I think we can get 35, so I'll try to get 35 movement speed, evasion energy shield ones, because every bit of movement speed is incredibly nice in this game. In fact, I think my next point, because of that, is just going to be step like mist, because, you know, I just want the extra movement speed. Oh yeah, I was going to go echoing flames, but maybe after that I'll go step like mist. So there's that. I showed my flasks already. Here's my charm, immunity to freeze, and that is pretty much the character. So I hope you enjoyed. Kind of a long update. It's been a couple of days. I did solo self-found. I will be playing this character a little bit longer. Maybe I'll do a final update if I make any other changes after like a day or two, and if not, I will instead be working on another class. I have 3 build ideas. I have 3 really solid build ideas, I think, using uniques as kind of the basis. Just to give you a little bit of a preview for those who stuck around to the end, we have a helmet somewhere here. Here it is, Masked of the Stitch Demon. So take a look at that. Gives energy shield, but you can't have energy shield, and then it regenerates a bunch of life per maximum energy shield. Also has chaos resist, good to know. And of course we have our good old friend Ghost Writhe. Ghost Writhe is here as well, and yeah, I kind of got something in mind with these. We'll see how it goes. Hope you enjoy. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I'll see you next time. Bye.